Manchester United find themselves in the middle of a left-back crisis. Now you might think, what is a left-back crisis? I've never really heard that term before. Basically, United have no left-backs at the football club. In terms of senior players who are ready to play in a starting 11, there are none. Luke Shaw currently injured and will be injured for the next few weeks still, having missed several games already this season. And then of course the mysterious tale of Tyrell Malacia. Haven't seen him yet this season, he seems to have gone missing, and now Erik ten Hag has confirmed that he will not be back in time for this season. And it seems as though Manchester United are keen to avoid this ever happening again. If that is, you believe the news from Fabrizio Romano, which is that Manchester United will target a left-back this summer, regardless of what happens with Tyrell Malacia. So I thought today we'd look at some potential options. We're going to look at a young option who could be brought into the side. We're going to look at a Premier League proven player, an outside shout, and then the real deal, the elite level left-back, which United should go for. So let's take a look. So the first player we're going to look at is 19-year-old Patrick Doru, currently playing in the Serie A. And this is a very, very good young fullback. Only 19 years old, probably wouldn't cost too much money. But just because he's a slightly cheaper option, it doesn't mean you're skipping quality. This is a very, very good young player. In my opinion, one of the top young fullbacks coming through at the moment. And there's a lot to like about his game. But in terms of the base, the fundamentals, the foundation, P&P, pace and power in abundance. This is an athletic profile. Now, of course, being an athlete isn't absolutely essential. And of course, it's not the only important factor. We need technicians as well. But being someone who is strong, physical, and very, very good in the duel certainly goes a long way, particularly when trying to transition as a young player to a new league. Having that physical base already, in my opinion, goes a long way in helping you make that transition. And Doru's got that. And he uses that pace and power incredibly well. For me, one of the top young wide duelers. So what do I mean by that? 1 versus 1 battles. Whether that be in or out of possession, very, very good in 1 versus 1 situations, particularly out of possession. So when a player is coming at him into a 1 versus 1 on the dribble, does Doru have the ability to stand his ground, defend a 1 versus 1 situation? Yes. Very, very good 1 versus 1 defender, using his brilliant size. He's very, very good at using his body. That can be at times grappling the opposition a little bit with his arms, that can be going shoulder to shoulder, that can be getting those long legs into making a tackle. A very good wide dueler. However, it's not just out of possession he uses his physical traits, because it is also a very useful tool in possession as well. Ball carrying. When you have the ability to draw a player close to you with a small touch, and then as this player comes in you take a big touch and you accelerate past them, it's a really useful weapon to have. And again, Doru has this. And again, it's that pace and power over the first few yards. So even if a player can get closer to him, Doru has the strength to hold them off and then power his way forward, moving a little bit further up the pitch. And it makes him a very good ball carrier. And that is something which we know that Ten Hag values. He likes these players which are good in 1 versus 1 situations, both in and out of possession. Doru is exactly that. Importantly though, he's also good from a technical point of view as well. He has a good technical base. He's not an elite passer, he's not an elite creator or anything like that, but he is only 19 years old. Let's give him a little bit of time. Technically though, sound on the ball. That is how I would describe him. Technically sound. Comfortable taking the ball in reasonably tight situations. Pretty good with his short, medium and long range passing. Nothing groundbreaking, but a solid young player. Now, we're not going to look at any stats for Doru just because of who he plays for. They don't really have too much possession, so it's not a fair reflection of Doru's game. Trust me when I say he's good on the ball, he's a good technician, but importantly also a good ball carrier, allowing him to progress the ball up the pitch for his side. In terms of in the final third, that makes him a threat. The ability to be the spare man. So should someone like Rashford invert, the ability to then get round on the overlap into the final third using your pace and a power to attack the space. Very, very dangerous. I would just like to see a little bit of work with that end product, that decision making. He has the ability, due to his technical base, to put a good cross in. He has the ability to find a good pass into the box. But it's more about his decision making. And I think with Doru, that is my biggest concern. The mental side of the game. Decision making, lapses of concentration defensively. But again, this is a young player, so give him a little bit of time. Keep an eye on Doru. If you are looking as a backup for Luke Shaw in the summer, Doru could be the one.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. and also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
Time for a player with Premier League experience, and we are talking about 22-year-old Wolves defender Nouri and what he could bring to the side. Nouri is a really good young player, and in my opinion, someone who goes a little bit under the radar, doesn't really get the appreciation he deserves in the Premier League. Why does he deserve appreciation, in my opinion? Because he's very good technically. Very, very good on the ball. In terms of, again, short passing, a good pass completer. Short, medium, long range passing, he has it all in his locker. Now again, the stats don't particularly reflect that, because he's a fairly low volume player. So, whereas someone like Luke Shaw, for example, at United, drops into the defence a lot to play a lot of passes from the back, Nouri isn't that sort of player. Instead, he wants to move a little bit higher up the pitch and be involved in those areas. So, tactically, it's a little bit different to what United currently have, but of course it could still work. And the reason it could work is because Nouri is just, again, phenomenal in 1-versus-1 situations, particularly in possession. One of the best ball carrying and dribbling fullbacks in the Premier League. And again, it goes unnoticed. You guys probably haven't heard that said before, that he's one of the best young ball carriers or one of the best young dribbling fullbacks. But he genuinely is. Very, very good on the ball. Tight spaces, his footwork is absolutely brilliant. And once again, he has that little bit of pace and acceleration which he needs to get away from the opposition. It makes him an incredibly useful player in terms of progressing the ball. So when you kind of get stuck in the middle a little bit, you can't find that way forward. Moving the ball wider to Nouri, who has that ability to carry the ball forward, go in 1-versus-1 situations, and genuinely progress the ball at times, 20, 30 yards, it's a hugely valuable tool. This is again the sort of thing which could make him a weapon for United in the final third, particularly with Marcus Rashford. Rashford, again, is someone who naturally likes to come inside onto his right foot, almost like an inside forward at times. Nouri flying around on the overlap is a match made in heaven, but also because it can work the other way around as well. So Rashford can hold the width a little bit, and then Nouri can use his intelligence, but again his pace and his power to make underlapping runs into these positions. And again, I think he's a player who raises the technical, but also the physical floor of this Manchester United side. In terms of weaknesses for this young man, defensively I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced by his 1-versus-1 ability from a defensive point of view, which would potentially be a concern. We are of course talking about a fullback, a defender. So being able to defend is a key part of the job. Now, he's not useless from a defensive point of view. It would be completely wrong to say that. He's just not elite level defensively. He can be beaten in 1-versus-1 situations. He can have a lapse in concentration in terms of positioning. So a very, very good young player. Again, someone which United should consider, but perhaps not the perfect option. Let me know what you think in the comments. But it's time for the next guy. For the next left back, we are moving abroad again, and we are going to Spain this time to look at Girona fullback Miguel Gutierrez, 22 years old once again, a very good left back. A little bit like Nouri, not a high volume left back though. So again, not someone who wants to get involved in these deep positions and play out from the back. Instead, he wants to move quite high. For Girona, you'll actually often see him in a high left half space, which is a little bit weird for a fullback in the build-up phase, but this is where he tends to move, and that is because he is not a high volume player. However, just because he is not a high volume player, it's important that we do not make the mistake of labelling him as a poor player on the ball, because it simply isn't the case. This is a very, very confident young man with the ball at his feet, very comfortable receiving the ball in tight spaces, and he has that belief in his take-on ability. So should he receive the ball a little bit deeper, granted it's not a regular occurrence, but when he does, he is confident. He has a good body language, but also confident in his ability to beat the man in front of him. Again, Ten Hag values this massively. The ability to go 1-versus-1 and beat a player. Gutierrez has this in abundance. He's also generally all round, technically very, very secure. Very, very secure. Very good on the ball, a very good passer of the ball. Again, short, medium, long range passing. Gutierrez can do a little bit of everything. But for me, where he really comes into his game is in the final third of the pitch with his movement off the ball. So that can be from this half space, receiving the ball in these pockets of space here. It can be underlapping runs into the final third, or once again, overlapping runs. This is a player who, with his pace, his acceleration, his agility in the final third, can get into really dangerous positions. Granted, he probably needs a little bit of work on that final delivery. He probably needs to be a little bit sharper with his crossing into the penalty area. But again, he is only 22 years old, so it's not a massive concern. In terms of if you're looking for a backup to Luke Shaw, someone who can play a few different tactical roles, being this high inverted player, this underlapper, this overlapper, Gutierrez ticks a lot of boxes. I would like to see, again, a little bit of improvement with his end product, and also, again, from a defensive point of view, I don't think he's perfect, but he is a very good young player still. And again, I think the fee that he would probably cost would be quite low. So Manchester United should definitely be interested in him. Then finally, we have the elite level left back, which Manchester United could be interested in this summer if they not only want to upgrade the left back department in terms of depth, but really improve potentially the ability of the starting 11. Teo Hernandez. A little bit older than the other guys, but a very good left back. Right up there as one of the best in the world. I think he's probably just below Luke Shaw, but the fact that he's more available than Luke Shaw in terms of injury problems probably just about makes him a better player. And whereas the other players all had slight drawbacks to their game, I'm not sure Teo does so much. He can do a little bit of everything. He can be a first phase player. He can receive it out wide and look to play out from the back. He is press resistant. He's a very, very good passer of the ball. But also, he can invert in the first phase. So not only the second phase up here, but in the first phase, he can receive the ball in these areas. He's even played centre-back for AC Milan at times. He can do a little bit of everything from a tactical and also a technical point of view, because he's just a world-class player. He is just a world-class footballer. He has football IQ. He has good understanding of different roles, different positions, and he always looks comfortable pretty much no matter where he is receiving the ball, because of a good first touch, the ability to scan, the ability to use his body, and also pass his way out from danger, but also carry his way out from danger. Again, if we're talking about those 1-versus-1 specialists, Teo Hernandez is that. Very, very good at taking the ball forward. That can be through the middle of the pitch, in tight congested spaces, working his way through the middle, dribbling through the heart of the opposition, moving towards the final third from where he is creative. Or it can be these incredible, marauding, flying, overlapping runs down the left-hand side. When he gets into these areas, he is one of the very best in the world. These runs forward are absolutely lethal. The amount of power he has as he strides forward is frightening. And then his delivery into the box is top. A level above, a couple of levels above every other player we have looked at on this list. His delivery into the final third is absolutely incredible. Once again, he can do that job of being an underlapping runner. So rather than always being out wide, he can have that tactical variety with Marcus Rashford, which I think is important because Luke Shaw does something similar. Teo Hernandez can pretty much do everything. He is also a massive goal threat. That's important for a Manchester United side which at times have, struggled to find the back of the net this season. Having someone from left back chipping in with a lot of goals over the course of the season would be huge. His set pieces are good, free kicks, corners, even penalties. Teo Hernandez can literally do a little bit of everything which you want from the modern day left back. And if Manchester United really want to make a statement that they are here to really kick on now as a football club, Teo Hernandez could be the sort of player that you go sign, because the squad depth of Teo Hernandez and Luke Shaw is incredible. For me, like I said, I think they are the two best left backs in the world, with Alphonso Davies right up there as well. To have both at the club, both able to play centre back as well, would represent incredible depth and a real statement from Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Will this happen? I'm not sure, because maybe it's not a priority. Maybe we don't need to spend 50, 60, 70 million pounds on the left back. Perhaps we only need 18 to 20 million. But if Ineos want the statement, Teo Hernandez could be the one. If not, then perhaps one of the other guys, or even someone else on the market could be the right option. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Would you like to see one of these four players brought into the club? And if so, why? If not, which other left back on the market would you like to see signed by Manchester United this summer? But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.